Hello, and welcome to Saturday PLO evening. Sorry for the delay. We had some problems with transferring money because we are going to play a totally new site today. Something special for Saturday early evening. But please hold on, we will start in just a few seconds. Hello. It's Saturday, it's PLO, and it's Unibet. Just started to think, how do you pronounce it in English? It is Unibet or Unibet. But anyway, we're going to play at Unibet. One special site, no HUD allowed, no tracker software works. You cannot table select. But it should be fun. How it works is, where do I find it? I can show it to you. Like, here is our client, and basically we can see that in PLO 10 there's only 14 players. So once we press join, it automatically puts us into a table. And as our crowdfunding bankroll is suitable for PLO 10, maybe some PLO 25 shots. I think we're going to mix PLO 4, PLO 10, and PLO 25 to get sort of nice combination of tables. So I haven't played a lot here, actually probably only 2 sessions with the new software. So I have no idea what the games are at the, it's sort of anonymous table because you can change your nickname pretty much as you want. So we have just about $260. So probably we're going to start with PLO 10, PLO 4, and let's see how it goes. And we can discuss and have thoughts about how to play on tables where you don't have a HUD. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or you cannot even make notes on your players. So let's see. I've changed the table graphics to be as simple as possible. You can have avatars, all kinds of funny stuff on the table. I try to make it as simple as possible. First thing that you will notice when playing at Unibet is you don't have an auto top up function, so you cannot reload back to 100 pp's automatically. You have to do it manually. And it's not a problem when you are winning, when you have a huge stacks. But yesterday I tried this, and what happened is that I forgot to top up, and on the next hand, it's nice to flop nuts, and then you have a 40 pp stack. Can I let the sounds off? No, I don't have a sound, so there was some funny clicking noise. If there's some problems with the sounds, or there's some table sounds that come to the stream, just let me know. Or anything about the quality, Oh, US Pro is giving me pronounce advices. University. It could be university, it could be university. Yeah, but it's Unibet. Or as Unibet, as we say in Finland. I think I'm going to open 4 tables, so we will have something going on. I have no idea if there are same players or not, because you cannot see the player pool. Anywhere. Everything froze up. Come on. Why can't I resize the tables? Who broke my... Oh, now it works. Only from the bottom. Do, 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 do. And let's try to make it as neat as possible. All right. I would assume that most of the players are sort of recreationals, because the software really doesn't support multi-taping or more experienced players that like to use HUD. It's often quite hard to play when you don't have any numbers on the table. And now as you cannot make notes, here you can see the action, but there's no way to make any kind of notes. And we make the revert straight, but the flush complete, and I would assume that most players, he bets if he has the flush on table 3, and if he doesn't, he's going to check behind, but it's such a small bet. But I'm actually going to fund. I'm pretty sure he has the flush there. Of course, we have no idea. Might be one option to just check. I mean, call that bet and see what he had. Because the problem here with playing really sort of bad players or recreationals is that they sometimes make funny value bets. Like there, when the straight and flush completes, those people might make that small value bet with the set. They think that, okay, when I check I don't have anything strong, and they just bet their sets, don't even know why they bet it, but they just do it. Here we hit the top pair. I'm going to buy, but if we are talking about standard lines here in PLO 10, PLO 4, among the recreationals is value bet, value bet, value bet. We can make thin value bets. Because most of our money should come from players who give us a lot of value for our hands. Now, the only way to know if our session is profitable or not, at least I haven't found any other way, is that I just wrote down and took a picture of our bankroll before the session, and then I just compare it at the end of the session, and we can see what happened. Like here we are 9 BPs deep. There we can get. If any of you have played at Unibet, please let me know what you think about it. And we flop the nuts. Probably here donking is the best line, because if we check, it often goes check, check. The only hands we can get value is some kind of flush draw. We might be able to check raise. Check is pretty decent. Here, when he calls, he has a lot of flush draws. 2 pairs. Sets in his range. Sometimes some kind of Jack 7 or 7-6 might make a call down. And here on table 1, I often barrel flushing cards, but this hits the straight draw and the flush, and if he has some kind of ace, he's going to check behind here. On the river, I mean. I don't assume he turns any made hand into a bluff. And here opponent pots the river, which is one of the situations where my hand looks like a straight, and when I check the river, I open him a spot for bluffing, but when he pots, I'm pretty sure he has flush quite often. Of course, now the problem is that we cannot make notes. So if we call, he might make a bluff with missed diamond draw, who knows, but when he goes a turn, he should have more than just a diamond draw. And greetings for Alex. And here we make the flush, but it's a 10 high flush. I'm going to call here. And he had a king high flush. So there you can see that he actually value bets king high flush on paired board. And that's what I saw yesterday when I was playing, that people often overplay flushes. And a lot of hands where I would just check back, people try to get value from, or you can get value from you can get value from pretty wide range compared to, let's say, PLO 10 at stars or PLO 10 zoom, where it's quite hard to get value. And I don't know how often people change nicknames. I would assume that especially recreational players don't like to change their nicknames often. Or some not so good regulars, they might keep the same nickname and try to make a name of themselves or something. But I don't know. Table 2, 3-card hand, but I will call often. When I call, it creates a multi-way pot, and ace queen jack with suited ace has quite nice multi-way potential. 16 cents. will call. The opener is 50 BB short, so I would assume he has a lot of aces kings in his range. And now he pots it. If he has aces, we have decent equity. If he has aces with the flush draw, we are sort of screwed, and if we call, there's not many turns that we can actually give up. Oh, if he had bet smaller, then I think we can kill the turn, or if he bets half a pot, we can shove as a semi-bluff, but when he pots it, it's really nasty situation. Yesterday when I was playing and trying to set up the software, I thought that is it better to have the avatars or not? Because now with only names, it might go unnoticed that people change on the table. Like people are coming and going all the time. So if there was avatar, it's easier to see if some player changes on the table. He had aces, wow. Oh, there's no replayer. Alright. The opponent had ace, ace, 10, 4. There's asking, do I think there's more recreational players in hot free tables than normal ones? As you can see, like here, Saturday evening, and 20 players on PLO 10. So there's probably less than 100 players in whole PLO pool. So really hard to tell how many of those are recreationals. I think the ratio between recreationals and good regulars is definitely towards recreationals. Not sure if there are that many good PLO players, especially at the micros in hot free tables. Because there's no way you can track your winnings, you cannot put them on your poker tracker, you cannot get any graphs. All the stuff that regulars like to do. So out of those 20 players, there's probably, I don't know, 15 different players. As you can see, there are probably same players, love in 2 tables. Some people are multi-tabling, so definitely more recreationals compared to Rex. Ace 7-9 against 1 player. This is quite clear. C-bet fold. People don't go crazy. And he raises, so I assume he hits the board. And on table 2 we hit the wrap and opponent just folds. And table 3, there's nothing we can do, no reason to make a hero call here. One might argue that check on the flop is better than betting into 3 people, but I think betting is fine. We talked about last week in our mental game, public coaching with Tetruscal, that sometimes people chase losses. And if you have a problem with how to manage your poker tracker, that you are constantly checking the results during the session, you are checking your graph, how much you ran under EV in this session and so on, try Unibet. As how to manage your poker tracker doesn't import any hands, there's no way you can see, and your cash balance is quite hard. You can see it there, how much you have money in play, and then add that cash balance, but there's no really quick way to see if you are making profits or not, especially if you have like 6 tables open. Looks like a lot of players actually use pot size bets here, and people are playing pretty funnily. Like here, Chashibu flopped the top pair, checked on the turn, he had top pair and flush draw and everything. Now here we can get the money in with trips against another trips with queen kicker. And he had just the top pair. Did he have a... He had 7-7. So he had just the queen 10 on flop was 10 deuce 3 and he potted it. Wow. Like, I wouldn't use pot size C bet with just the top pair. Weak top pair. But that's what people do. And every time when opponent is making something different than you would, then it means that either one of you is making a mistake. I'm here after opening. Let's see how he reacts. And he folded. And on table 1, ace high pot C bet, he folds. In PLO 4, there's 55 players in the player pool, so it looks like it's going to wake up. If you have any questions about PLO, poker, life, whatever, use the chat. It's Saturday evening, don't be quiet. You can talk about anything, whatever you want. There has been a lot of discussion about poker and rake backs, and is that something that sites can keep up forever, or are they going to change towards recreational players like Unibet aimed for recreationals? There's no rake back as in normal way. You can get something back by doing achievements and so on, but I have no idea what the percentage is. So Kyyberi has been playing at Unibet for a few months. If the games are good, don't recommend it to anyone. If you find something that is really juicy, then don't tell anyone. I actually don't know that if we sit out here on table 4 and we open a new table, does it put us back to the same or do we get a new one? But there's 2 players sitting out. Here no one bet the flop, so I'm going to make a stab here on table 1. I would assume we'll get a lot of folds and we'll get 3 insta folds. And now we just wait that something's going on. We are going to have a Pokemania live meeting at the end of May, if I remember the date correctly. There's a thread at forums, so even if you are from some distant countries, feel free to join us. It's near Helsinki, so you don't have to travel a lot in Finland. And if you actually come from another country, ooh, we flopped the nuts, but it's really hard to get value unless he has an ace or 10. So often we'll get folds here. But definitely have to bet like half a pot. People call with flush draws, straight draws. But Sasibu is pretty tight one. So if you actually come here from another country, I can probably promise you that we are going to pick you up from the airport and give yourself a ride to the meeting place and back to the airport. A nice flop, wrap and flush draw, and let's just get the money in. It's really that we cannot really phone on any turns, so just put the money in and see where we are, and we should be in decent shape, and we are. And what is this name? Some kind of patch is super aggressive. 3-bet there with crappy rundown. So first double up, woo! And as Dea said, if you don't have an account on Unibet, you can open it to Profitability and get some nice offers and deals. I don't know if anyone has ever calculated how much is the rake back. Because you can win some tickets. But the funny thing is that some of the achievements is not tied to the amount you rake. Like, I got €4 ticket by pretty much raking 0. All you have to do is play a couple of hands and try a couple of sit and goes. Now, I don't know why my chair is down. There should be a switch that it doesn't go all the way back. There isn't. Oh dear. So I have to go up and down. Oh, annoying. And table 3, I don't see bet the flop. We don't have any backdoors. And then the board just runs so bad that aces are not a really, really good hand anymore. And table 4, wow. That just doesn't look like a full house. So I'm going to call here, and if he shoves the river, then it's probably a fold, but here we check, and he had his most straight. So funny way of playing the bottom straight by calling flop and then donking a pair turn. One of the reasons might be that on the flop he was trying to be tricky, and on the turn he got scared and just bet for protection. I don't know anything about next summer. It totally depends how much I have to work in real work, how much I have time for poker, and with poker, here I'm going to raise. It looks so weak. We have top 2. Now the thing is, if he happened to have aces for some reason, I don't know if we had any value by raising, so let's just call. And he had a pair of 3s and not flush draw. So I'm often using poker tools when there's a situation that requires it, like a post in the forums, and I want to check some numbers, or I'm talking at Skype with someone about a hand, or I have a tricky hand in my session and I want to check some stuff. Oh, here table 1 should have just complete crappy queens. I didn't see that cutoff named here. Not a huge mistake when you flop the nuts. So easy. But completion would have been better. And now we get the money in with the nuts versus a wrap, and we win the pot. Here against the Pats, who's maniac type of player, I'm just going to free bet double-suited kings, and now we can pretty much shove versus all-in man. And jacks and 6s, and he flops the quads, and we make actually the full house, so we get something back, but yeah. Poker is so easy. We make the nut full house, and he got the quads on the flop. Wow. No one has 100 pp's on table 1. So that's what happens when you don't have the auto rebuy or auto top up. Then you will have these short stackers. And it's something that doesn't happen that much on the other side, like at Poker Stars. There are some short stackers or recreationers that don't reload, but all of the recs, more competitive players, they reload. So most of the time you are facing 100 pp stacks. But here, stack sizes can vary a lot. Decentish hand here on table 3. Ace queen 6, 9 against swords. I'm actually going to fold because he's a shorty. As Yaran Pirate is playing at Unibet how often do you change your nickname? Here we get Pat's 3-bets out. Now when we have the rundown, I don't want to push pre-flop, because the thing is that against almost any range we are sort of 50-50 flipping, so by pushing pre-flop with this hand we don't achieve anything, but if we hit something on the flop, now we are often having a lot more equity. And he called us with 3 on the flop, so nice gamble, sir. Okay, so you have to rake a lot or rake a minimum. Can I see from the hand history, like here? Can I see the rake? Okay. Total pot is €8 and rake is 25 cents. That would be around 2.5% rake. Is there a rake cap? Because it's good enough. Well, probably have to calculate it later, but I don't know. Or if someone can use internet and check what is the rake at Unibet. Because on that one hand, the rate was 2.5%. The one where we won with the top 2. What was it? No, something else. But it was €8 pot in PLO then. Medium aces. Yeah, and on my client it says that you can have 5 different nicknames at the same time, and you can change freely among those. And I would assume that if you want to change one of those 5s, it's possible, or not sure, but at least you can have 5 different nicknames. One thing that I thought about too is when you are playing here, as you cannot make any notes, one option is to just open Notepad and make notes like Chasibu, Tight One, or whatever the patch guy was, Maniac. Because 2 players it's easy to remember, but now if you have some kind of overall notes or idea of 10 players, it's quite hard to remember all of those. So probably if you are playing by yourself when you can't concentrate on stuff, using a notepad would definitely be plus EV. But here, when streaming and explaining what you're thinking and everything else and following one chat, Twitch chat is somehow quiet. I'm not sure if anyone is alive at Twitch, but following 2 chats, I don't want to make notepad notes. It would probably increase the mistakes. Once again we flopped the nuts. That's probably 4th time with aces that we flopped the top set. Wow. What is going on table 3? Why is it closed? Oh, now it works. Dealer was having a break. That's something that I have discussed, especially at one forum lately. Every now and then I have to reply on YouTube comments or some other comments that I haven't said that I'm going to play my absolute 8 game on the streams. That would be pretty impossible. When streaming, and just alone the fact that you have to explain what you are doing is definitely affecting your game. Because when you have to concentrate on more things, it's harder to do those couple of things at your absolute best level. And then when you have chats that you want to focus on, everything creates a situation where at least I am going to make mistakes. And then on YouTube, someone watches 2-hour coach and says that, haha, you folded on the button that hand. How can you be a coach? Well, yes, there are things where I have made mistakes by just not noticing, mislooked my hands, mislooked the board. We have checked nuts behind on the river, and then there are some mistakes that I can find out later when I analyze the hand more carefully, and so on. So if you see me doing something stupid, there's a chance that it is stupid. And that's why it's important that if you have any doubts about what I am doing, or you would do some other way, just open your mouth. Say it in the chat, let's create discussion. I can see that, was it a mistake? Did I mislook something? And so on and so on. Here in Temple 2, I would assume that no one often has a king, but now the only one who could have a king is this Rush girl. And when he bets the turn, I would assume that he often has a king. Or she, not sure. I would assume that he or she is sort of passive. Haven't seen a lot of action from him or her. Here, standard line is, if you want to play the hand, we could isolate 3-bet, but he's a shorty, so I'm just going to flat. Let's see the flop. And flop is decentish. I don't want to raise. With that stack size, he's not folding. So I'm going to see if this sticky 3-3-3 calls, he often has a flush draw type of hand. And now we make sort of second nuts. So what I want to do is to get the money in versus this Alice. And he folded. Okay, now there's a big question. Ambition, that is a good question. Could regulars say that you have to know your odds? Well, yes, you have to do, but you don't need replayers to be good in those. And watch a lot of replays to know you did the right plays. Now we are talking about improving your game, and there are many ways to improve your game. Of course, if you only play on Unibet where you don't have hand histories available, then the thing is that it really affects how you can improve your game, because you cannot go through your database. Like, I have no idea about my VPIP free for praise or what's the average villain here. So definitely, if you want to, I'm going to bet here again versus flush draws. If someone raises, I'm pretty sure they have a straight, so then it's mathematical problem. And now we basically have the nuts, so I'm just going to bet big and hope he has a full house or queen. And he has pocket trees. Woo! Lucky me. The thing is that previously we played on microgaming network that works with trackers, so there's no difference between net stars or microgaming. But here I played this now. I'm going to fold this quite close. Would have been a nice flop. Thing is that this streaming is, I think that edutainment is the good word. There's entertainment aspect and then there's the educational aspect. And when we combine both, it means that neither one is 100%. So when you want to have entertainment, it means that when you have entertainment, it means that you cannot concentrate on educational by 100% of the time. So the idea is not to have the optimum showcase of what you should do if you are a regular with some pros and you're trying to achieve to become a better player. I know there are some viewers that are only watching for entertainment, and I think having something new every now and then keeps up the interest. Like we have never played at Unibet, now there's no HUD, so it's another aspect that previously we have used a lot of HUD, now we don't. And when you are thinking about improving yourself, we have had 2 sessions with Deya. She's trying to learn PLO. Oh, sorry, she is learning PLO. Bad wording. She is learning PLO, and we have talked a lot about studying, improving, how to become a better player. One thing that I wanted to try is see if I can copy paste the hand histories straight to poker choose. And see if my computer can do the workload. A nice turn on table 4. I'm going to actually bet for value versus queen and jack and 10 sets, flush draws 2 pairs. If he raises, I'm sure he has a straight, so then it's just mathematical aspect. Oh, I didn't raise here. Why? It didn't work. Boom. So replayer doesn't work here. And microgaming, there was a replayer, but it didn't work either. And we have played as stars. The problem with stars is that pretty much all the, what would be the word for a regular that wants to improve? I know it in Finnish, but not in English. But all the good regulars that are members of some poker communities, watching videos, trying to become better and better, they are playing at stars. And there's a lot of multi-tables at stars. So even when we have had some PLO 25 sessions and stars, and there's, let's say, 15 good tables open, and now there's 3 regulars that everyone sits on 12 tables. Suddenly it means that pretty much all of the tables, there's going to be 2 or 3 regulars in those. And when you sit in those tables, there's only 2 or 3 seats available for the bad players. And at the micros, the rate is so damn high that if you play with regulars, then it's really hard to make profit. You have to be able to play hands with recreational players to make up the rate. It is possible, but you need to table select. And I'm going to sit out here on table 3. Everyone just went out. And table 1. So is PLO 10 dying? You see. Yeah, there's only 13 players on PLO 10 pool. So let's see if we can find a full table. No, we can't. And now he raises. So that is ace 9 or ace jack. So we have probably 6 outs versus him. So I'm actually going to fold. So when PLO 10 is dying, then we continue PLO 4. Not a problem. And another top set with aces. Trips on table 1. Unibet is so kind for me. On table 2, when the board is rainbow, I'm going to barrel. Like this river, I think I should have a lot of folding equity. Because he shouldn't have a straight so often. Especially when he calls the turn. If there was a flush draw on the flop, then it's harder to barrel because it's more likely that flush completes on the turn of river. But when it's rainbow, then his calling range is pretty much on queen and 9 board. It's 2 pair sets, some kind of open-ender with the jack. So if turn and rivers are blanked, we should have a lot of folding equity on the river. Then there are some players that even on the river, when you bet, they are calling with sets because they just cannot fold a set. quads on the table. Not sure if I have seen that in a very long time. So let's see if can we copy paste it. No, wow. We cannot copy that. And what does he do? He min raises me. That doesn't look like a set to me. And it's queen jack 3. It's hits high flush draw. Wow. That is a funny way of playing top pair and hits high flush draw. But yeah, if he just calls the flop with the set to see a safe turn, he wouldn't min raise me. So funny lines from funny players. So what I was trying to do is that here we have the software and we can see, but I cannot copy this one. Oh boy. So I was thinking that if I can copy the hand history, then I can paste it to poker choose, but it didn't work like that. So, if there's some really high-tech nerd guys around, if there's a software that can sort of get, like, as I am here, I will have a hand history. And if I just make it bigger, oh, we cannot. Okay, it doesn't work. I'm trying to see that if we can copy the paste from the screen, I don't know if it's screen scraping or whatever the name is, that if you have a software that I can take this screen and it turns this into text. I have it on my mobile phone actually, so there should be one for computers, but if you can find an easy way and fast way to turn this text into text file and then do it in 2 parts, then if you have that, please let me know. So that could be one way of putting the hand histories in the poker choose, which would be quite nice. Yes, as Ambition says, I always say that if someone plays PLO 10 for a long time, there is a reason for that. Or if someone plays PLO 25, there's a reason for that. They are not that good one. But the thing is that rake is 15 to 20 BPs per 100. So it's not enough that you are better than your opponents. You have to beat the rake. So you have to be a lot better than your opponents. And that's the problem with playing among regulars and micros. You are better than them, but you are not good enough to beat the rake. And that's what people often forget. It's easy to play with rakes, but your edge over them doesn't beat the rake. I hope Olliman calls here. Oh, nice turn. Gives us double cut shot. I don't think he's going to fold often. And now he checks. And he has ace jack 8-7. Yeah, would not have folded. Yeah, they do make a lot of mistakes, but most of their mistakes are not that big one. They do make mistakes, but not a huge ones. What kind of bet is this? I'm going to fold. He hasn't been that aggressive. And he did bet the flop, which haven't happened a lot of times. So he actually might have a set there. And then on the turn he was afraid of the straight and bet big on the river. Often when you're playing with regulars, they are going to make mistakes, but you have to be honest, and often when you get into a big pot with regular, they are not making a huge mistakes. Sometimes you just happen to have a better hand versus their hand, but they played their hand in a correct way. So if you play a big pot with a regular and you think that, okay, what if I was in the shoes of my opponent? Would I have played in the same way? And if the answer is yes, then you didn't win any money in the long run. You just lost the rake. And that's one thing at micros, that you're going to have a lot of big pots with regulars, but they are sort of setups that you don't make any mistakes. Really hard to get 25 cents with this software. And now he pots it, okay. He's picking up the aggression, or he's just sitting hands. That's second hand that he's really aggressive. Other than that, he's limping from the button, which is quite nice. We can see 3 flops. So let's see how many players there are in PLO 10. Only 7 players. But there should be a table that is full. Let me see if we can find a table that has more players. No, we don't. There's 2 players, so there's only these short tables with 1 or 2 players. So I'm not sure if it's profitable to play heads up due to rate. But for PLO, the only site or network that has a traffic pretty much 24/7 is PokerStars, and that's quite sad. With some other networks, you can get good volume during the peak hours, but not like here. If you want to play PLO 10 now at Unibet, you have 3 tables with 2 or 3 players in those, and that's your options for PLO 10. So you have to go go to PLO 4 that actually has 54 players, or PLO 25 that has 20 players. So if you are playing on the smaller networks, you have to mix your stakes. And you can always play smaller stakes, but if you're normally playing PLO 10, you have to be really careful with your bankroll if you jump into PLO 25, because that's actually 2.5 times bigger. And often at some sites, if you play in 2 different sites at the same time, it means that you are not raking as much per site as you would if you have just focused on one site. And with many sites, your VIP level and rake back is relied on the amount you rake. Of course, through Poker Mania, you can get 30% flat rake back from micro gaming. So it doesn't matter if you rake a lot or just a few bucks, you get the same 30%, which is nice. And if you have that flat rake back, then you can mix your sites and networks as much as you want to get the volume. You're not able to add Unibet micros with a lot of recreationals. I think the top pair on the flop is just the standard c-bet for value. Because people call with such weak hands. And if they fold, it's still a decent option compared that we check and then turn changes the board and someone sees that, okay, when he checks I can bluff. A lot easier to play with c-bet, and among regulars we can get nice value. Now PLO then is picking up. Everyone saw my stream and now they are joining. There's 12 players in PLO 10 pool. And no action. What is going on? We don't get any action. But today, poker cards have been favoring us. We have flopped top set around 10 times so far, I think. We haven't had any really nasty spots. No setups, no suckouts. Actually, we haven't been all in that much either. I might be wrong, but if I have to guess, I would guess that we have been all in 2 or 3 times. I don't think I don't count those where some short stacker has a couple of cents on the flop and we did it, but in a bigger pot, I can't remember that we have been all in quite many times. Oh, just a second, I have to answer my phone. Okay, it looks like here at our house there's going to be a lot of noise in a few seconds, so if there's going to be a lot of noise, I have to mute my microphone. And here with aces we don't flop the nuts, but we flop the, we don't flop the top set, but we flop the nuts, which is nice, but no action. Here on the turn, sort of interesting. I have to call 4 cents, and he didn't have the flush. Wow. The thing is that today, for the first time ever, I'm streaming from the living room. Normally I have been on the other room, as the house was supposed to be empty, but just got a message that there's going to be a whole family here in a few minutes. So if the noise is going to get really big, then I think we can end the session today in 1.5 hours or so, which is the normal time. Well, let's see what happens. So far, no one has entered. Grandpa is asking on Twitch that he plays full ring at PokerStars and people implant. Full ring PLO is sort of dying variant, but at full ring, thing is that you cannot pedal a lot more, and especially in macros, I think that's the way you should play those full rings. That just play with hands and wait until you hit the nuts, or you can use one speed play strategy. Your idea is to have nuts with redraw versus nuts and then get the money in. But when people implant, when you have a strong hand, you open the pot. When you have a mediocre hand that has nut potential, you can imp along with those players. But I'm not sure if full ring, well, of course you can play whatever you want, but often transitioning from full ring to 6 max is good. There's a lot more information for 6 max, and there's a lot more tables to be played. I don't even know how many full ring tables there are at PokerStars. But I forgot what I was about to say. Oh, nasty river on level 4. We cannot beat almost anything, so I'm going to bluff and hope he folds some of his smaller pocket pairs. And demo 3, when he barrels, I'm just going to fold my top pair. Turn didn't help us in any way. Demo 2, if he bets the river, I'm going to call. He shouldn't have a really strong hand unless he has a 9, which then sucks. And he did have the 9, so it did suck. So we're going to end in about 10 minutes. I think that Unibet, if there's 20 players on the player pool, there are some players that consider themselves rakes, but as we have seen today, people make some funny lines, some funny decisions. Of course, we don't have any HUD, so I have no idea about the player tendencies, but I wouldn't think there are that many good regulars. Oh, he insta-called the flop. So it's a hand that he's decided to make a call down, so I'm just giving up here on the turn. I'm not going to fight with him on that pot. I'm going to 3-bet this one. And flop is... I'm going to make a small €1 c-bet here. And the half a pot bet worked, which is, or under half a pot. We have the ace blocker, which kind of reduces the times people will have the flush. But if they have any flush in 3-bet pot, they are never ever folding. As an average, we have seen today, like, wow, this is such a strange bet. Of course, we are folding, but other than that, nothing completes on the river, and he pots it. So the bet sizing is really strange, unless he has a pocket nines or some king 9. Might be a value bet here. But sometimes when you call, they can show like bare aces or 9 deuce, 2 pairs. People make a lot of bets that if they were asked, was that bet a bluff or value, they wouldn't know. And that's quite common when I have had coaching students and they make bets that I'm not sure if it's value or bluff, and I asked, is that bet for value or bluffing? And they started thinking and they just don't know. And that's happened often with people. They just bet because they have a strong hand, but they don't think, why do they bet? And here I am going to value bet the river versus a6, a7. And he called me with just an ace. Wow. Was that right? I have to see the hand history. The opponent had... No, now it's lost. The whole hand is lost in somewhere. Huh. The whole hand is lost. Well, I cannot see it. But as far as I saw, he had just an ace king. There it is. And the opponent had... No, it's not that one. Well, whatever. And on table 4, we flopped the top pair and cut shot with some backdoors. And turn is pretty nice, it's totally blank. So I think we can definitely value bet again, or semi-bluff. And opponent folds, which is nice. I'm basically saying that if you don't have any information on anybody, it seems bad for your overall profit. And why is it bad? Yes, you cannot use HUD, so you have less information, but it doesn't mean that you can make less profit. If the opponents are quite bad, as we have seen today, then it's not, you shouldn't be, or yeah, it's so complicated. If your objective is to make money, then you should play the games that give you best profit. And if it is the games without the HUD that give you more profit than battling with regulars on PLO then at stars, then you should choose the one that gives you more profit. If your idea is to improve yourself, and whatever your sessional goals are, then you should think that then probably a site where you can use your tracker to get the hand histories and be able to review what you were doing is better for learning. But it's always, you just cannot say that it's bad to play in Unibet because you don't have a HUD. Well, we have made profit today, which is nice. Yeah, there's 6 card Omaha too. There's 5 card and 6 card, but with 6 cards, you need a pretty strong hand in showdown to win the pot often. So the AI is going to play at microgaming afternoon. So then you can see the HUD. I'm here on table 3. I'm going to make a thin value bet with bottom 2 and flush draw. We are going to get value from any king, any flush draws. Of course, we are not huge favorites, but to maximize your win rate at micros, especially against recreationals, I think the key to boost your win rate is to be able to make thin value bets. Often, especially with these calling station type of players, people take the safe lines. They wait until they hit a really strong hand before they start to value bet. But you have to understand that against calling station, most of your profit comes on the flop. Then the second most of your profit comes on the turn. And you have least profit on the river. Because on the flop, draws call you quite free. On the turn, some draws call you. And on the river, none of the draws will call you unless they hit the draw. But of course, on the river, the pots are biggest, but you have to build up the pot to make the big river value bets. Okay, now we are going to play the last orbits and then see what was the results of the session. Have to compare the bankroll to what it was when we started. Here we have only backdoors and he bets into 2 people. I'm just going to fold. So hard to continue on the turn and we were out of position with just in top pair. If the board was rainbow, I think we could check raise here. Now when there's a flush draw, I think that, let's see the turn. And this is kind of spot that if he bets, it polarizes his range. I don't think he value bets any top pairs or over pairs here. And he's not afraid of the backdoor straight, so this might be a misdraw. Then it might be pocket kings, and he just doesn't think that what can he get value from. So if it polarizes his range, oh, what happened? I folded. Ooh, I was about to call actually there. Well, maybe it's good I folded. But it really, he has a lot of misdraws that he won't bet on the river. I think it's justified. He didn't think on the river should he bet or not. So it looks like he's just barreling with his hand. But we timed out. So now we don't know if he was bluffing or not, but I think there's a huge chance that he was bluffing. Yeah, we flopped the full house. Then we turned the nuts. He probably cannot have a hand that he can call me, but I'm betting big in case he has a random king in his hand or aces. And he calls me with pocket sevens. Now, that's optimistic. Wow. Not sure if he's an Hold'em player or that might be a standard call in Hold'em. No, it can't be, because in Hold'em he cannot beat the board. Maybe he just doesn't want to fold. There's somewhere that on this software it says your hand strength, so probably a recreation of that. When the hand strength is full house, he just doesn't fold it. But now I think that we are going to sit out on the next big blinds. And then we figure out what was the profit. Just have to wait. So Dea is starting her stream in half an hour or so. Go there, watch her, give her some advices, discuss about PLO. Should be entertaining. Grandpot is asking, do I play 6-card PLO? No, I don't even play 5-card. One of the reasons is that I don't think, or I haven't thought about how 5-card changes from 4 cards. So I think I have quite probabilities in 4-card PLO, but with 5-card it changes a lot of stuff, and I'm not comfortable with ranges at 5-card PLO, so I'm not playing that one. No reason for me. I could play it for fun, but that's a different story. So now we are sitting out. And we're going to sit out in here. Well, we are not, because he's going to be a big blind, so we can play one more hand. And our starting bankroll was 303.44. So unless something funny happens on the last hand, we made around 25 euros as profit. And oh yeah, I have to convert that to dollars. And last hand, and we fold. Thank you, sir. Come again. So the final bankroll is 329.89. All right. Then where is my calculator? This is where Poker Tracker becomes so handy. But let me know what you thought about playing at Unibet. Was it just useless? Useless time, wasn't fun, wasn't educational, or do you want to see more from Unibet? Whatever suits you. Here is the final profit, 26.45. And for clarification, here is the bankroll at the start of the session, and here is the bankroll after the session. So 26.45 is the final verdict. That's how much we won. Now I cannot put a graph on this session. No idea if we run good or not. That might actually be a good thing. Doesn't affect our feelings. So thank you for this session. I had a fun playing at Unibet. Let me know what you thought. And now let's have a small break, and then Deja will crush the micro gaming PLO. And I will see you on next Friday. Actually, not on next Friday. Again, I'm away for the weekend, so we have to pick up some other day. But you will get more information on that later. Now have a good evening with Deja, and have a fun Saturday and so on. Bye-bye.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.